Good afternoon. It's now 4 o'clock. A murder suspect now at this hour is in critical condition. This person was shot this afternoon by the police in Fishers on the northeast side of Indianapolis.
Rich Nye has been reporting from the scene for a few hours. He's live tonight on Masters Road near 91st Street. Rich, can you share what you know?
Felicia and Anne Marie, this shooting happened just behind me on Masters Road, and we're right next to the Psalm Golf Course. Police in Fishers say that a SWAT team and detectives were trying to serve an arrest warrant on a murder suspect. We're going to take you up the street for some video that we shot a little earlier that will get you closer to this scene. This was apparently a traffic stop for an arrest. Police were using an immobilization device called the grappler to essentially lasso and tether the suspect car to stop it. In the video, you can see a red car that went through the fence onto the golf course property. And apparently during the car being stopped or right after that is when the shots were fired.
Our detectives and SWAT team members had a planned operation to take this murder suspect into custody after the warrant was released today for him. And during the encounter, shots were fired. Our officers are not injured. The suspect was injured.
We're not sure if this involved an actual chase or if it was a planned takedown as a traffic stop. Again, those are the questions that we know. We do know vehicles are involved. I can certainly say that there's a police vehicle, there's the suspect vehicle, and a device called a grappler.
That grappler device was likely attached to the truck that you see up against the fence. State police take over the investigation now, which often happens in an officer-involved shooting. Police say they found a gun in the suspect's car and at least one shell casing and damage to a police car, and that may indicate that the suspect fired shots in this incident as well as police. Again, the suspect was taken to the hospital and at last report was in critical condition, and that suspect's car is still on the scene just down Masters Road. We're just south of 91st Street. Lots of activity still here at the scene. Masters Road will be closed for still quite some time. Again, Fishers Police, as people know around here, is in Hamilton County. We are in Marion County, so what's not clear right now is whether there was a chase into Marion County or if Fishers Police were actually tracking this car, and then when they tried to stop it is when this incident happened.
All right, and Rich, I know you'll look to find some answers from that. And also, just for perspective, this is north of the Castleton Square Mall area. So you might want to avoid that area as that investigation is underway at this hour. Rich, thanks. We'll check back. And now to our other big story of the day. The FAA is reducing flights all across the country amid the government shutdown. What you're looking at here is live at the airport in Atlanta. This is just one of 40 airports expected to see cuts in flights starting as soon as tomorrow.
So let's take a look at this map together. You can see those 40 locations. They're indicated by airport codes. Some of the busiest airports are impacted. Yes, our airport code is IND. It's right there on the list. You can see the cuts.
That's right. Indianapolis, one of the 40 airports listed to have a 10% cut in flights. Brandon Schaff joins us at our airport right now with what travelers need to know if they've got a flight coming up tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday. Brandon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Anne Marie and Felicia. That's a good point. This all gets started tomorrow right here at the Indianapolis International Airport. Officials confirming that this airport is one of 40 across the country that will see a reduction in flights. And that is significant considering that we have about 40,000 people flying through this airport daily, meaning that this could affect roughly 4,000 of them. The Indianapolis Airport Authority says that it's unclear if it'll be a 10% reduction in flights right away here on Friday, but the airport will do everything that it can to keep everyone safe and on schedule as much as possible. The FAA is doing these flight reductions to relieve pressure on air traffic controllers not being paid since October 1st because of the government shutdown. The agency says that it will keep airspace safe. And IAA Vice President Steve Dillinger says that we need enough people in the towers and TSA to ensure that travelers are safe. Otherwise, they won't be able to fly. And when this begins tomorrow, he advised people to give themselves a little extra time before their flight.
We will be slower going through TSA. So we would recommend people, if they do have a flight, to get there at least 2 to 3 hours early to make sure they can make it through security all right. But unfortunately, we're not going to know which flights might be affected and which ones are not until tomorrow.
Got that. And Dillinger says that some flights could be canceled, others could be moved to another time when it's less busy, and he added that Congress will have more pressure now to end the government shutdown as these flight reductions affect people traveling ahead of the holidays. And coming up at 5, I spoke with some travelers here at the Indianapolis International Airport as they are preparing for the potential impacts to their flights coming up soon. Reporting here at Indianapolis International Airport, Brandon Schaff, 13 News. Back to you.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much on the case. We appreciate you following things there. All of this is happening weeks before Thanksgiving and the busiest travel time of the year. And if your upcoming flight does get canceled, you do have some options.
That's right. So Allison Gormley's been looking into this and joins us live in studio with what's the deal with what airlines are now telling customers as we prepare for these cuts.
While this has the potential to be inconvenient, the good news is that airlines are being flexible. For the most part, they're allowing all customers to temporarily cancel or reschedule their flights penalty-free. That means you do not need to have a canceled flight to take advantage of the flexibility. You can simply just change your mind about the trip. Airlines who have confirmed this include American, United, Delta, Frontier, and Southwest. While most airlines did not mention an end date to this period, Southwest said it affects their travel through next Wednesday. Many airlines add that they expect a vast majority of the travel will be unaffected and that long-haul international travel will remain as scheduled. A reminder, anytime your flight is canceled or significantly delayed, you're entitled to a refund per law. Now, if I did not mention an airline that you happen to be flying, we'll be doing our best to keep our web article updated online under the What's the Deal tab.
Yeah, this is one of those things, though, Allison, where it really is the domino effect, right? So we're even talking about the international flights, but let's say you're flying internationally from Chicago, Minneapolis, Detroit. Maybe your connector flight to get there could be impacted.
Fingers crossed, if you have an international itinerary, someone somewhere or AI somewhere will notice that and keep you in the loop of things. But just keep an eye on your itinerary, check it constantly, and be in communication with the airline. The best way to connect with them, and often the quickest way, is the app and their chat feature.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Easier for us than for some of our seniors who are, going to be dealing with these changes as we head into the holidays, too.
And still so many question marks. I mean, we just kind of have to follow along as things unfold.
I'm going to put it in the universe. We won't have to worry about it for that long.
Okay.
Oh,
Let's
that would
put
be
that out
This
there.
is purely
Wonderful.
speculative.
I like
This
your-
is my thought.
Yes.
I like your positivity.
Yeah, well, there will be extra pressure. The more Americans that are impacted by the shutdown, the more pressure on lawmakers to have a resolution.
Yeah.
So Allison mentioned her What's the Deal segments. You can catch her show streaming on WTHR Plus. She also mentioned a website. And to get it on Streaming Plus, just download the app now, Roku, Fire Stick, and Apple TV. All right, let us talk weather after another beautiful day.
Yeah, Rob Ellis is in tonight, and here's a live look outside right now. We got blue skies, we've got sun, 59. I don't know, 60 just sounds so much better.
Yeah.
I mean,
1 degree.
it was 70 yesterday, so
Yes.
keep that
That
in
sounds
mind.
even
I mean, we
better.
have cooled down a bit, but it's still beautiful, even as we head into the next couple of days. Now, there's a lot of ups and downs in the forecast. I mean, it really is a roller coaster ride. We're kind of at that point where we've climbed that click, 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 click up. Yeah, and then you kind of go around that curve, and there's maybe one little bunny hill before you go down the big hill. That's where we are. You are here.
I understand the forecast now.
You are here
It's
on
like
that
a
roller.
Kings Island ride.
Absolutely, yes. Keep all hands inside the ride at all times, please. We are currently sitting at 59. There are some 60s on the board. 62, how about that for Bloomington? Temperatures are a little bit cooler than where they were yesterday by as much as 10 degrees or so, depending on where you are. Temperatures aren't quite as cool for areas to the north compared to yesterday. There were really a lot of areas that warmed up quite a bit, and we had plenty of sunshine. Now, things are going to be changing as this next system moves our way. Not huge changes for Friday and even for Saturday, but a couple of quick little systems that are going to move through here and change things up. You'll start to notice that in the form of maybe some high thin clouds added to the forecast as the temperatures tonight drop into the mid-40s by just after midnight or so, as those south and southeast winds likely keep the temperatures from getting quite as chilly as they were. We'll do mid-40s for tomorrow morning, and that may give us a bit of a jump start to try to warm up tomorrow, just as warm, if not warmer, than where we were for today. So it's actually a mild part of our forecast with temperatures, yes, going back into the 60s. Now coming up, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about this. A couple of rain showers in the morning, maybe even a thunderstorm, but we're going to go from 60s to snow over the course of the weekend. Yes, I said snow. We'll talk about what that means for your forecast for Saturday and Sunday coming up. In the meantime, a couple of traffic issues I want to let you know about. We've got one downtown that's causing some big backups between the north split and the south split. There is an accident on 65 northbound or 70 eastbound, depending on how you want to label it there. This is going to be near the crossing, and I'll show you a camera there in just a moment. There's also on 70 westbound, just west of Emerson, a concern here with an accident that you can see is causing a slowdown all the way to the north split. We'll also have some issues on Interstate 69. This is northbound, but southbound is actually backing up really because of the interchange with 465 there and the ongoing construction that continues to cause slowdowns. This is Interstate 65 at Washington Street, but you can see there's only one lane of the possible 3 lanes there that are open that is allowing traffic to move through. Heading southbound, that's the concern that we had that we showed you on the maps there because we do have some vehicles blocking 2 lanes. I'll have more on that and the forecast for the weekend coming up.
Thanks so much, Rob. And Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita is suing Indianapolis Public Schools. He alleges the district prevented ICE from deporting an illegal alien who had voluntarily agreed to leave the country. That's his quote. And he says this happened in January. IPS said agents could not collect the child without a warrant, and a teacher allegedly put the child in contact with an immigration lawyer. Rokita also claims IPS has continued to defy Indiana's anti-sanctuary law.
Coming up, we're hearing from the newest Colts player where Sauce Gardner was when he received the call, hey, you're headed to Indy.
And against all odds, the reason this weekend's marathon in Indy is much more than a race for one Hoosier.